What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Balatro guide. Today we're going over my favorite Joker combinations. So today we're going to be talking about Joker pairings. In a future video, maybe we'll go over sets of Jokers, but today we're going to be talking about the best Jokers that work together. And let's kick things off with number 9 on my list, and that is Gift Card and Ceremonial Dagger. Now, the whole reason for this is that Gift Card is constantly improving the value of all of your Jokers, including itself, each and every round. This allows cards that are sacrificed to Ceremonial Dagger to add more and more mult, and eventually you can sacrifice Gift Card itself, maybe after a few rounds, and it's worth an absolute ton. I was able to get Ceremonial Dagger up into the 60s rather quickly due to this. Another Joker that would work great with Ceremonial Dagger is, of course, the Egg, because you're getting 3 per round for the Egg itself. That one may even be more fun, but I think Gift Card is rather useful because you're having every single Joker and you're having your consumable cards gain value, and that means you could use a card for 4 or 5 rounds and then give that the Ceremonial Dagger and it goes up a bunch, and again eventually you can get rid of Gift Card itself. Number 8, and this one's interesting, Stuntman and Burglar. So Stuntman of course gives you plus 300 chips but minus 2 hand size, and Burglar takes away all your discards and just gives you an extra 3 hands. And the reason I think these work so well together is it is absolutely perfect for high card runs. When you're playing high card, you just want to be able to play more hands. That's what Burglar lets you to do. When you're playing Stuntman, obviously you don't have a ton of cards in your hand, so you're going to go for high cards. The two have a pretty perfect synergy, in my opinion. I've even had runs where I've had double Stuntman and Burglar, and that one absolutely fantastic. I mean, the whole point is when you're running Stuntman, you're probably going high card, maybe pair. You really don't need any discards, and Burglar's going to allow you to get the points you need to continue going, get to more shops, and get those other Jokers that go well for your high card build. Number 7, Pareidolia and Faceless Joker. Now, Pareidolia can pair well with a metric ton of Jokers because there's so many Jokers that buff face cards, but my personal favorite is Faceless Joker. Now, granted, these are 2 utility Jokers, or rather utility and an economic Joker, so it's kind of hard to have space for both, but when you do, your economy is flying. Every single time you discard 3 face cards, you get $5 with Faceless Joker. Well, with Pareidolia, everything's a face card, so literally every single discard, basically, you are getting $5. You can basically have this pair for 1 ante, and as long as you can get through that ante, your economy may be set for the rest of the game. It is amazing. It's also super fun, and I am taking fun factor a little bit into kind of my metrics for this one, so try this out. If you're able to get both of them, discard away. If you're able to get those discard vouchers, even better, because you end up making $25 a round, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. Number 6 on our list is Vagabond and Campfire. And now this one also may be out of left field a little bit, but let me break this down. So Vagabond really promotes spending in the shop. You want to always have less than $3 when you enter the round to create those tarot cards in the round every time you play a hand. Well, that pairs really well with Campfire, which you're buying and selling a lot of items to get the mult up. So first of all, in the shop, I think they work very well together because Vagabond kind of forces you to spend your money. You can spend it on Planet or tarot cards, get them in your consumable slot and sell them right away, or you can even do the same with Jokers. That's all going to be adding mult to Campfire. And then the round itself, you make a bunch of tarot cards. You can sell them mid-round. Obviously, you don't want to get above $3, otherwise Vagabond doesn't work anymore, but selling those tarot cards either in the round or in between the rounds in the shop works extraordinarily well. With Campfire, you're getting that mult up every single time. This is really a surefire way to make sure that Campfire is constantly at 3 or 4 mult per ante, because it does reset after the boss blind. And it's really the way I found most efficiently to play with Campfire, unless, of course, you have a great economic situation, like Faceless Joker and Pareidolia, like I just mentioned, or a Rocket, or some of those other Jokers. But Vagabond, Campfire, try this one out. It's a ton of fun. And again, you're forced to spend your money anyway. You might as well build up your Campfire when you're forced to spend that money. Next is Constellation and Astronomer, and this one's a little bit more straightforward. I think everybody immediately saw this as an incredible synergy. Astronomer obviously makes all planet cards and packs free, and then Constellation, you get X mult for every time you use a planet card. So free planet cards, gain X mult for using planet cards. This one's very self-explanatory. When you're gifted this in the shop, it turns into an absolute blast while playing the game, and usually lends itself to a pretty easy run. Of course, there's some RNG involved. What if you don't get any planets, and then all of a sudden you're not able to afford to hold a utility joker like Astronomer? So I wouldn't rate it like number one, the very best synergy, but this was clearly built in the game to be a harmonious pair, and it works very, very well. You throw yourself a telescope voucher on top of that, so you're getting planets for the card you're playing the most all the time for free, and you're off and running. It's pretty darn fun. I personally believe that Constellation needs a tad bit of a buff to 0.2 per planet card, but that's a conversation for another day because that might be too high. But regardless, Astronomer, Constellation, if you get these two in the shop, especially early, you're going to have yourself one heck of a run, and I've had a ton of fun playing this multiple times on stream. Number 4 on our list is Baron and Mime. This one, another one that I think is kind of self-explanatory. Baron obviously allows your kings to basically become steel cards, and of course you can add steel to those kings, and now they're timesing 1.5 in your hand multiple times, not only for the fact that they're a king, but for the fact that they have steel. And Mime is re-triggering everything that is in your hand. So whenever I get a Baron, I'm immediately looking for a Mime, because that is just how you skyrocket a run, because all of a sudden each king is worth 2.25 mult, and now you throw steel on it, you're getting higher and higher. You add a red seal to that, it goes insano mode. But Baron and Mime are, two peas in a pod. They are two jokers that I absolutely always want to get together. If I get one, I'm looking for the other. Really, I think while Mime can be useful without Baron, and Baron can be useful without Mime, the exponential growth you get from them together in your joker slots is ridiculous, and that's why it's so high on my list at number 4. Not only for the endless runs to get super high scores, but really if you're trying to pass, let's say, a gold stake, I would argue that neither of these jokers are that great on their own at higher stakes, but together you're off, you're clear, you're gonna win that run pretty darn easily. So if you can get them together, they're incredible. Each on their own, they're pretty good, but this is one where the sum of the parts is worth way more than them individually. I absolutely love this pairing, and again, it's another really fun build to do. Next up is DNA and Hologram at number 3. Now, granted, there's a lot of jokers that work well with Hologram. There's Certificate, which allows you to make sealed cards every single round. There's a Marble Joker that adds stone cards every single round, but my favorite by far, and what I think is one of the top synergies in this game, is DNA and Hologram. DNA allows you to create one copy of a card at the beginning of each round using a hand, and then Hologram is adding mult every time you add a card. So basically, every single round, we're adding 0.2 mult for Hologram. That's insane. And on top of that, we get to choose what card that we're adding and copying. Now, granted, again, DNA is taking up one of your hands. You have to basically play a single high card to make that copy, but it is more than worth it. I have had some incredibly fun runs playing DNA and Hologram. I think it is worthy at high stakes. It's worthy at low stakes. It's good for high scores. It's good for challenges. There's not a time where I've gone this Joker synergy where it's not been useful and led to a pretty great run. I've had one or two where maybe I messed up and didn't read the fact that I was on the boss blind the mouth, but as we said in our How to Win a Balatro run video, read the boss blind, and I'm guilty of not doing that sometimes, but this is incredible. And what I'm going to showcase really quickly on screen is a run I got. Now, granted, this was a seeded run, but it wasn't a specific seed that we're looking for. It was a play along stream with Balato Spare, and I was able, with DNA, to get 35 Ace of Hearts. And, if you have Hologram, you get your Hologram up to, you're talking about times 10, times 11. It's turning itself into one of the better jokers in the game at that point, while you're also shaping your deck perfectly using DNA. So one of my absolute favorite Joker synergies and one of the best pairings, I think, in this game. Number 2 is Sock and Buskin and Tribulate. Now, the only reason I would argue this one isn't number 1 is because this requires a legendary Joker, and you don't have a lot of say in when you get a legendary Joker, nor when you get a specific legendary Joker. But when you do, if you get Tribulate and Sock and Buskin, I mean, first of all, automatically, you probably won your run unless you have all face cards to buffed boss. And then on top of that, you are probably aiming for your high score at this point because these two jokers together are ridiculous. I mean, triplet, if you don't know, every king and queen is basically glass without being glass. It gets ×2 when it's played and scored. Sock and Buskin re-triggers all face cards. Well, all of a sudden you play 5 kings. You're timesing that by 2 each time twice. The sky, again, I've said this before, is the limit. I mean, I don't even really, I don't have much to say about this one. It's too good. It's super fun. I just watched Murphy Avi, who is one of the better, more entertaining streamers out there of Balatro, and he got, I believe, E59 using this combo with Polychrome Kings, and he also had kings in his hand that were steel. It was a whole thing, but Sock and Buskin Tribulate is ridiculous. It is the most fun combo, I think, in the game. I don't think it's the best, and it's also very RNG based. It's not something you can go out and get. But if you find Tribulate, go and do everything you can to reroll the shop until you get a Sock and Buskin, and you're going to be in a ridiculously fun spot to maybe get your highs in ante. Because, you know, I've personally only been the ante 14. I know if I could get this combo actually on stream in a non-seeded run, I'm pretty sure I would be able to clear my record and get the ante 15, 16, 17. And you're probably not watching footage of this right now because I haven't been able to get on stream. I got it once on a separate profile when I was just playing for fun, but that's been it. It's not an easy thing to get, but it is absolutely fun. And I had to put it up here and give a shout out because I think it's one of the easiest ways to get a PB in this game. And our number 1 Joker pairing, Midas Mask and Vampire. I just got this on stream today. I have never seen a more ridiculous pairing to get yourself through a run, whether it's low stakes, high stakes, a challenge, what have you. If you get Midas Mask and you get Vampire, and you're not on the abandoned deck without any face cards, you have won the game. It's over. You are totally good and in the clear. So Midas Mask, if you don't know, makes every face card, whether it's scored or not, gold. Vampire, whether it's scored or not, takes off enhancements and adds molt to itself. Well, when you have Midas Mask and Vampire, no matter if you're playing face cards that are scored or not, you're just creating free molt for Vampire each and every time. Obviously, an amazing pairing would be Pareidolia with these two, but you don't even need that. As long as you just have a base amount of face cards in your deck, you're going to win your run. And that's exactly what happened to me. I was, at the time, trying to make a ton of aces. But once I got Midas Mask and Vampire, I couldn't even get my aces out because I was scoring so many points by just throwing high card up there with a bunch of face cards. And Vampire, by the time we were done with Endless, was at 22 molt. Absolutely insane. And we got Midas Mask very late in that game. I believe it was the 7th ante. So imagine if you got down the first ante. Basically, if you're lucky enough to stumble into this uncommon duo, you are going to win your run. Absolutely make sure you get both of them. And make sure, just a quick little note, that Midas Mask is on the left. That means all the face cards will become gold, and then if Vampire's to the right of that, then Vampire will take all the gold off of it. I made the mistake the first time I played and had them reversed, but you want Vampire to the right of Midas Mask. Regardless, I think this is the number 1 pairing currently in the game. Maybe not number 1 for personal best and high score, though it can get you pretty far, but it's definitely number 1 for winning a run in Balatro. Alright, thank you so much for watching. Comment down below, what is your current favorite Joker pairing in Synergy? Hit the like button if you like this video, dislike if you didn't, hit subscribe if you want to see more great Balatro content, and you can watch me on Twitch. I live stream every weekend, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific, and then 3:30 to 6:30 Pacific during the weekdays, except for Friday. Hope to see you there. Hope you've been enjoying the content, and see you soon.